Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today we are breaking down 3 S-tier high DPS builds for Title Update 20, which includes the best gear pieces, weapons, specializations, and playstyle for each setup. Each build on this list is carefully crafted to provide you with the fastest killing force in the Division 2 raw DPS. This includes a one-shot kill sniper build, capable of clearing heroic control points in less than a minute, a devastating LMG build that utilizes one of the highest DPS weapons in the game, and an AR build that combines the best DPS gear set with one of the best exotic weapons in the game to help you destroy anything that gets in your way. This first build is the fastest killing sniper build in the Division 2. Thanks to the hotshot gear set, you'll be increasing your marksman rifle damage, weapon handling, and headshot damage by 30%. Each headshot you land will add buffs to your agent, including extra damage, bonus armor, and even the ability to refill your magazine. Now, to achieve the strongest possible damage output with your marksman rifle, we have Perfect Headhunter and Determined on this build. Two powerful talents that synergize incredibly well together to turn you into a one-shot kill machine. After killing an enemy with a headshot while using Perfect Headhunter, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds deals an additional 150% of that killing blow's damage. With Determined, after you kill an enemy with a headshot, the next shot landed on the enemy will be a guaranteed headshot no matter which part of their body you hit. In simple terms, after you kill an NPC with a headshot, every single shot after that will be a one-shot kill on any NPC, even named bosses. The best strategy with this build is to find the best vantage point where you can see all enemies and look for the NPC with the lowest amount of health to start chaining kills. Red or purple NPCs are a quick and easy headshot kill. You take them out first and no other enemy will be able to stand a chance. If you're looking for a sniper build that can one-shot kill any enemy and help you complete control points in less than a minute, this is the perfect build for you. Fast time to kill, very satisfying gameplay, and reliable for all endgame content. For the specialization, I'm using Sharpshooter. It provides decent perks for your agent, including increased stability, reduced recoil, faster ADS. You also get armor kits that remove status effects and access to the flashbang grenade. Primary weapon, the named White Death Marksman Rifle Expertise 12 with Determined as the talent. This talent is a big contributor to the time to kill on this build. Every time you kill an enemy with a headshot, the next shot landed on any enemy will be a guaranteed headshot. This means no matter which part of their body you hit, you will always do the maximum amount of damage possible. Since the kills count as a headshot, you can chain enemy kills thanks to the Perfect Headhunter talent, which buffs your damage significantly with each kill. Currently on my White Death, I have 316% total headshot damage. For the secondary, Eagle Bearer Exotic Assault Rifle Expertise 16, max AR damage, health damage, and damage to armor. The Eagle Strike talent lets you stack accuracy while you're shooting, and tenacity will make you invincible with each headshot kill. For the pistol, I recommend using the Sledgehammer talent, which increases your damage to armor by 30% when you damage enemies with grenades, and yes, flashbangs will also proc Sledgehammer as well. For the mask, my first piece of the hotshot gear set, max weapon damage, weapon handling, and a 10% headshot mod. Hotshot increases your marksman rifle damage, weapon handling, and headshot damage by 30% each. The headache talent stacks different buffs for your agent as you land headshots, including extra headshot damage, bonus armor, and the ability to refill your magazine during combat. For the chest piece, the Chain Killer named chest piece with Perfect Headhunter. Weapon damage, weapon handling, 10% headshot damage with a max 10% headshot mod. The Perfect Headhunter talent makes this build very powerful because your body shots from Determined are being counted as headshot kills. This means every kill with your White Death will deal up to 1250% extra damage, allowing you to one-shot kill any enemy in the game. Next, Hotshot Holster with weapon damage and headshot damage. Araldi Holdings Backpack, providing 10% marksman rifle damage. I also have max weapon damage, weapon handling, headshot damage with a max headshot mod. The Vigilance talent increases total weapon damage by 25%, but just keep in mind, when you take damage, it disables the buff for 4 seconds. After that, Hotshot Gloves with max weapon damage and headshot damage. And lastly, Hotshot Knee Pads with weapon damage and weapon handling. Your best option for skills is going to be the decoy, in case you need to reposition or make a flank, and the scanner pulse, which provides information on enemy locations and will help you prepare an attack. Real quick, since I have your attention, I wanted to briefly talk about today's sponsor, BENQ. Thanks to BENQ, we've had some amazing giveaway opportunities on the channel, with many more to come in the near future. But how much do you really know about BENQ's color features? These monitors come equipped with Color Shuttle and HDRI technology. Color Shuttle lets you save your fine-tuned color and depth on your Mobius monitor. Once you've found the right combination of settings for your favorite games, you can save them as presets with the ability to switch between presets at your will. You can also save your color settings to the cloud and download them on different devices. This feature has made my games look amazing, especially being able to control darker areas on the screen. HDRI, which is BENQ's proprietary technology, enhances the standard effect by integrating adaptive tech. Its intelligent control detects the current ambient light level and then automatically adjusts screen brightness for the ideal viewing experience. It's a combination of innovation and increased user control, which creates the most immersive experience to date. If you want more information on these amazing products, check out the BENQ link in the description below. This next build is designed around one of the hardest hitting weapons in the Division 2, the Black Market RPK. This LMG has high damage, incredible range, and a shorter reload speed compared to other options. Crits play a huge role on this build, with over 50% crit hit chance and nearly 170% base crit hit damage. You already have a solid foundation for high DPS. But why stop there? To increase damage output on this build, I did several things. For starters, I have the Strained talent on my RPK, which stacks crit hit damage by 10% for every 0.5 seconds you are firing, stacking up to 5 times. This means after 2.5 seconds of firing your RPK, you'll be able to maintain 210% crit hit damage on your build. Low RPM weapons like the RPK are perfect for talents like Strained because you can utilize the crit damage buff for a longer period of time. I also added the Obliterate talent to make the crits even stronger. With Obliterate, critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 25 times. This means as you're firing your RPK, you're stacking 50% crit hit damage, and with each successful critical hit, you'll stack up to 25% extra damage with Obliterate. Since a more aggressive playstyle is required to make the most out of all these talents, I added the Unstoppable Force talent to the backpack to maximize build efficiency even further. Unstoppable Force increases your weapon damage by 5% for 15 seconds for each enemy you kill, stacking up to 5 times. Every aspect of this build comes together to create one of the deadliest LMG DPS builds in the Division 2. You stack extra crit hit damage as you're firing the RPK, each crit amplifies your weapon damage, and each enemy you eliminate will buff your base weapon damage even further, making this one of the best DPS builds in the game. For this build, I prefer using Sharpshooter because of the extra stability it provides, the ability to remove status effects when you pop an armor kit, and the flashbang grenade. But you can also use the Gunner specialization, which would actually work very well on this build because it provides 10% armor on kill, every third reload is faster, and you get access to the Banshee Pulse skill. Primary weapon, the almighty Black Market RPK Expertise 12, providing 12% extra weapon damage. I have 15% LMG damage, 12% damage to targets out of cover, and 9% crit hit damage. For the talent Strained, gain 10% crit hit damage for every 0.5 seconds you are firing, stacking up to 5 times. This means at max stacks, you can achieve 210% total crit hit damage on the build, since we already have 160% base crit hit damage. A very powerful talent for low RPM weapons. For my secondary, I have the exotic Scorpio shotgun as my backup weapon whenever it gets too hectic, or if I need to immobilize a named enemy, for example. The Scorpio stacks status effects over time on enemies and eventually amplifies the damage the enemy takes by 20% at max stacks. For the pistol, I would use Sledgehammer as the talent. It increases damage to armor by 30% when you damage enemies with grenades, and this does count with flashbangs. Even though it doesn't seem like the flashbang is doing damage, you'll still always get that Sledgehammer proc. For my mask, the exotic Coyote's mask with max weapon damage, crit chance, crit hit damage, a max crit hit damage mod with the Pack Instincts talent, which provides crit chance and crit damage buffs based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. Next, Cheska chest piece, which provides 10% crit hit chance to the build. I have max weapon damage, crit chance, crit hit damage, a max crit damage mod with the Obliterate talent. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 25 times. This means as you're firing your RPK, you're stacking 50% extra crit hit damage from strained, and with each successful critical hit, you're stacking up to 25% extra damage with obliterate. After that, Walker Harris holster. The 2-piece bonus is going to add 5% weapon damage and 5% damage to armor to the build. I have max weapon damage, crit chance, and crit hit damage. Next, for the backpack, second piece of Walker Harris, max weapon damage, crit chance, crit hit damage with a max crit damage mod, and the Unstoppable Force talent, which increases your weapon damage by 5% for 15 seconds for each enemy you kill, stacking up to 5 times. Next, the named Contractor's Gloves, which add 10% LMG damage to the build as the 1-piece bonus. I have max weapon damage, 8% damage to armor, and max crit damage. And lastly, for the knee pads, named Fox's Prayer knee pads to unlock that extra 8% damage to targets out of cover, which will significantly boost your damage on the RPK. The skills are going to vary, but I enjoy using the Booster Hive so I can boost my weapon handling. It makes your RPK more stable and increases your reload speed. The Scanner Pulse is also a great skill to have since it provides intel on enemy positions and will always ensure you're one step ahead. This last DPS build is easily one of the strongest and most reliable AR builds in the Division 2. There's so many aspects to this build that make it S tier. For starters, it utilizes Striker's Battle Gear, the most powerful DPS set in the game. This set lets you stack damage on enemies, giving you 1% with each hit stacking up to 100 times. You also gain 15% extra rate of fire and 15% weapon handling. My favorite weapon to use with this build is the St. Elmo's Engine Exotic Assault Rifle. 70 rounds in the magazine, high crit chance and crit damage weapon mods, and the Actum S talent, which refills your magazine with shock bullets at 100 stacks. The perfect weapon choice for a Striker's build. More bullets and extra rate of fire means you'll be stacking Strikers faster, making you increasingly more lethal in the process. With the Coyote buff active, you're looking at max crit chance and nearly 200% crit hit damage on your St. Elmo's. This combined with Strikers and the Obliterate talent, which stacks your weapon damage even further up to 25% every time you land a crit, creates a setup with so much power, making you feel nearly invincible. The shock bullets on the St. Elmo's are also an easy way to immobilize named enemies, so you can stack Obliterate and Striker's Gamble very quickly and cause destruction everywhere you go. For this build, I'm also using Sharpshooter. I like the extra stability. I like to remove status effects with the kit, and the Flashbang Grenade is an easy way to proc Sledgehammer. Just like the previous build, the Gunner specialization will also work very well. You get that 10% armor on kill, every third reload is faster, and you can also use the Banshee Pulse. My primary weapon, the exotic St. Elmo's Engine Assault Rifle Expertise 18. 70 rounds in the magazine, high crit chance and crit damage mods with the Actum S talent, which refills your magazine with shock bullets at 100 stacks. Currently on this build, I have 52% crit hit chance and 172% crit hit damage. For my secondary, the named Lefty ACS-12 shotgun with the perfect Sledgehammer talent that increases your damage to armor by 40% when you damage enemies with your flashbang. It also debuffs them, decreasing their movement speed by 20%. For my mask, the Coyote's mask with max weapon damage, crit chance, and crit hit damage, and a max crit damage mod with the Pack Instincts talent to provide your agent crit chance and crit damage buffs based on the distance of the last enemy you hit. Next, Cheska chest piece, 10% crit hit chance extra on your build with the 1-piece bonus. I have max weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage, a max crit damage mod, and the Obliterate talent. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 25 times. For my holster, first piece of Striker's Battle Gear. This set provides 15% extra rate of fire, 15% weapon handling, and the Striker's Gamble talent, which increases your weapon damage by 1%, stacking up to 100 times thanks to the backpack. On this holster, I have max weapon damage and max crit hit damage. Next, Striker's backpack with max weapon damage, max crit damage, and the Risk Management talent, which increases Striker's Gamble weapon damage stacks to 1% instead of the base 0.65%. After that, Striker's Gloves with max weapon damage and crit hit damage, And lastly, Striker's knee pads with weapon damage and crit hit damage. With this build, I like using the Scanner Pulse and the Scanner Drone skills. The Scanner Drone is exclusive to the Sharpshooter specialization and pairs nicely with the Scanner Pulse, providing basically an infinite pulse for your agent at all times. You can also manually control the location of the Scanner Drone to help you maybe protect your back or continuously scan a location that's not directly near you. Thank you all so much for watching the entire video and sticking around until the end. Did you miss my last video by chance? I showcased the top 3 best LMG builds in the Division 2. I highly recommend checking that one out. If you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. It helps the channel grow and will help me create more videos in the future. If you want to see more videos just like this one, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on those bell notifications so you are notified every time I drop a new video.